The D-Money Show is back. I'm your host, Darren Blatt, aka D-Money, and we got a great guest today. We're trying to get a little bit of everything in the industry, performance marketing related. Today, you're going to really want to zero in on our guest because everybody in lead gen needs leads. And the first stop would be ads. So I have the guy for that. We have Charlie T from the Disruptor School and the Disruptor Academy. Charlie, how you doing?
I'm doing great, man. Thank you so much for having me. This is going to be a lot of fun. Let's help make making money easy. Let's get rid of some of the nonsense. Let's get some of the fluff. Let's just get it actionable advice to help people be more successful. I always like this. More success, less stress. Let's go enjoy some life.
I love that. That's awesome. I love your philosophy on everything, by the way. You're like the rock star ad guy.
I'll take it.
I love that. Every time I see you, you're a complete rock star. You were wearing a very offensive shirt last time I saw you at one of my parties. Forget what it was, but you're definitely a disruptor.
I appreciate that.
Yeah, I don't remember what it was. It was something really
I believe,
extreme.
Yes, for profanity's sake, you can bleep things out, but I think it was a shirt that said, fuck ROAS.
Okay, great.
Because that is my position in the world.
Spelled F-U-K and not with the C.
I think it was a star or it was a lightning bolt. I don't know. It's in my merchandise.
Okay, good. Anyway, that's my example of how he likes to disrupt things when he enters a room. All right, so let's get into it. Charlie, let's get your story. I met you because my fiance, Deborah, was working with a great client, 310 Nutrition, years ago, and that's a huge company. And they spent a lot of money on ads.
Yeah.
And that's kind of how you fell into my orbit. Whereas everybody else in the industry, they're learning about you because you're doing podcasts lately. I was down with you way before that.
That's right.
I saw the greatness then.
Yeah, we go back like snack packs.
That's right. I love that. We like our snack packs.
Yeah.
So you've been around forever. Tell me, when did you get started and how did you fall in?
Yeah. I mean, I started running ads 2012, 2013. Before that, like I basically got into marketing because before there was Facebook ads and all that other stuff, I was a radio DJ, so I was on Sirius XM and I was in touring bands and all of that stuff. So I got so good at promoting myself. People asked me to promote them. I took a 5 a.m. Saturday radio show to Sirius XM International. I've kind of done the thing over and over again. And I had a big drug addiction problem. I moved to California to get sober, which is a weird move for some people, right? Yeah. And I've got like almost 13 years now. And when I just needed a job, so I started like promoting for like $10 an hour, I was promoting the sober living I was at. Was playing some open mic nights, got myself a gig at some like defunct ad agency in LA. Worked there for 3 months. They fired me. I took their biggest clients with me. I started an agency. We won the business of 1-800-Flowers on a show on AMC called The Pitch. We won. It was the last episode of season 2. They saw me on screen. They canceled the show. Then like
they canceled the show after they saw you.
100%. My face is in the last scene on the last episode.
Like, well, we're canceled.
We're
now.
done. No. And it was the show before Mad Men, and it did well.
Maybe it was your T-shirt you wore.
Yeah. Well, at the time, I hadn't adopted that mentality yet. And so I basically that agency, went under because my partner fired me once we got the contract, and I'd kind of just done the things right. And around 2012, 2013, my biggest client at the time fired me because he put like $100 into Facebook.
Wow.
And it was better than he was paying me $2,000 a month for organic growth hacking. We're still friends, but he's like, look, dude, like I don't need you anymore. So I went to Swingers Diner right around the corner and got myself a rocket shake and then put my credit card into Facebook. And the next day started promoting my band. Within 3 months, I was running Jamba Juice and Viking Rivers Cruises. Within 9 months of that, within 6 months, I was doing stuff for like Carrie Gaynor Method and like ads for like Jay and Silent Bob at like Comic-Con and stuff like that. And within 9 months, I was supervisor at Omnicom managing $1 million a day for like Apple and CBS and Nissan and Activision and Levi's, stuff like that. And that was 2013. That was before there was Facebook Pixel. There were no lead ads. There were no conversion events. And that was really fun because I got to be part of the alpha for the lead gen ad unit. I was one of the first 7 people to use a lead ad on Facebook. And my bright idea at the time, I needed to spend $1 million within the next 10 days for Nissan on an alpha. So I was like, why don't we run ads with tier 1 marketing dollars to get people to sign up for a test drive that we could then give to all of the dealerships at a tier 3 level. And we had a 50% close rate on $100 leads. So that was a 2,700 like ROAS on every, like it's just stupid numbers, right? $100 selling a $20,000 car. in 2014 Nissan Sentra. I'll never forget those ads because I wrote a lot of them. But yeah, so like I've been around forever doing all of that stuff. I stopped counting the money back in like 2017, 2018 when it was like $500-600 million. And yeah, I've been a part of half a dozen 8-figure exits in the last few years, brought a couple brands to 9 figures. And I've just kind of been there, done that, and worked with the engineering team to design the product. So I kind of fell ass backwards into it, had an MBA and science, like a computer science background. And yeah, just really worked for me.
Well, talk about a bounce back. I mean, you were down and out, and now you're handling millions of dollars for people, almost $500 million.
Yeah, I mean, I stopped count. It was $500 million back in 2018, and I was doing $1 million a day. So like
Holy
at some point, I was just like, I just stopped counting.
Right.
Like at some point, you like it's inconceivable to understand the scope.
Right,
you know what I mean?
right.
But yeah, like it was wild. And now, you know, I have a house here in LA. I have an apartment in Manhattan. I run a couple of businesses. I pay myself fairly well. My accountant wishes I paid myself a little bit less because the taxes are killing me. Whatever. You know, life is pretty good. I got quality problems. And now I'm just here to try to help people be more successful because I probably made a couple $100 million more mistakes than most people will ever take attempts. And if I can help people avoid those mistakes, fantastic.
That's great. And you're willing to admit you made some mistakes.
Oh, absolutely.
And you come back stronger.
Yeah, I mean, I think anybody that is not willing to make, if you're not willing to say that you've made mistakes, I think you've got a pride issue and you probably got some growing up to do.
Split testing, isn't that what it's a mistake?
Yeah,
I mean,
yeah, like you're going to be wrong more often than you're right. That's just the way you do things, right? Like nobody, if you're right 90% of the time, it's because you're probably like too cowardly approaching taking any shots.
Yeah.
Like if you're not pushing yourself forward, 10,000 hours from Malcolm Gladwell is not about just doing the same thing 10,000 hours. It's pushing yourself into uncomfortability and into failure so that you can grow.
Yeah.
And I'll gladly do that eagerly, like every single day. Like I make mistakes all the time and it's like fun. That's how we get better.
How do you find your clients? I mean, how do they fall on your lap? Those are huge clients.
Yeah, I mean,
that was early on.
Yeah, I mean, early on, it was because I was supervisor at Omnicom. So I was the West Coast supervisor for Resolution Media. But now, like brands like 310 Nutrition, Under Outfit, a bunch of other brands, Fab CBD's another exit. And I know you know Josh, like a lot of those are just all inbound. I mean, I've been very vocal, very out in the space. I am not shy openly confronting people who I think do more harm than good by letting them know that the sky is blue and water is wet and fire is hot. And I have all the empirical data to back it up. And I can talk circles around any nonsense they're going to bring to the table because I help build all the tools that they're using.
That's amazing. I love that. And like being an innovator is kind of cool.
Yeah. It's like I'm Michael Jordan trying to tell you how to take free throws. You might want to listen or, you'll just fail longer.
So a lot of our audience, they watch the other podcasts, I'm sure, in the industry. And one of them is the John Casto podcast.
Yeah.
I didn't watch what you guys did. I saw the aftermath.
Okay.
I saw him talking after your episode. Sure. And what he was saying is that some of these gurus and coaches or people that do the ads are doing it wrong.
Sure.
And I think he had a disagreement with you. I didn't see it, but I want to know what the big disagreement was.
Yeah, I mean, we philosophically, I think, disagree. And I really want to shout out to John and Bulletproof because, like, a lot of people disagree with me in public and black and white on Twitter. He put his, he threw it on the table and was like, let's get on camera. Let's have a discussion like grown-ass men. And
I want to see it. I couldn't find it anywhere.
And it was like, so it's on YouTube and we'll publish it out more. But like, it was great. Like two people that are clearly good at what they do, that disagree about things, having a valid, respectful conversation. Like that's amazing.
And both getting kind of the same end result.
Yeah, exactly. Right. So like, I don't think there's necessarily a right or wrong way. I think it's about doing what you do well. What I will say philosophically, the biggest difference is that the way that John does stuff inherently creates more work for an end result that is less stable. The way that I do things leverages the smartest engineering, the smartest engineering teams in the world and the biggest artificial intelligence platforms to do all the work for us. I try to stay out of micromanagement as much as possible. I'm managing millions a week on a couple hours a week. And the nth degree of having as much control as possible means that if you're sick or you're wrong, you lose a lot of money. My way means that I can take I can take 4 or 5 days off and the machine is just better because I didn't do it. I think my philosophy is that a good manager is one who is not necessary for the success of their team. And I think John's methodology is I can, by brute force, make more things happen. My goal is basically this. If I'm sure you've seen The Matrix.
Mm-hmm.
He's trying to be like the best person to fight an agent. I'd rather like to think like it's not at some point I'm going to be able to dodge bullets. At some point, you don't have to. My approach is to be Neo. He's trying to be Morpheus, and I think that's really just the difference.
Okay. Hey, either way, you guys are great.
I mean, it's good. I'm not. I hope that doesn't cross as me throwing any shade or anything else. Like, clearly what he's doing is working.
Mm-hmm.
I just think there's a law of diminishing returns to rely to level of effort and arbitrage to get to a result. And over the long run, that only works if you're willing to work harder and harder and harder and more and more and more and be right all the time.
Mm-hmm.
My way means that the longer you do it, the less it's reliant on you. And that allows me to win in 10 places instead of 1.
So theoretically, I would rather not have to work as hard.
Right.
And I'd like to implement a lot of the tools that you're implementing because you're probably using AI, right?
Absolutely.
So AI
I think we're all using AI, yeah.
Yeah, but you're probably using it first and a little bit better because you've been in the space forever.
Sure.
So that's really interesting how AI has really affected the way that you do business to make it easier so you can take those 4 days off.
Yeah,
which is amazing. So let's give the sauce.
Sure, absolutely. I like it. like the kids, right? Let's do the sauce. So
yeah,
a couple of things. One, AI, right? And I think everybody thinks of AI as sort of this chat GPT Gen AI version. Oh, look at this image, but it's not really cool. And then there's like the VO3 in these videos. Sure. On a very surface level, using AI to write copy or to make images is a thing, and it can be useful. I think people can kind of sniff it out. I think if you're not good at a task, it can make you better. I think any tool that allows somebody to go from an F to a B- is a halfway decent tool. I think anybody who's an A+ operator that looks at B- work and says, why? But like, you can't be A+ at everything, right? So if you can use a tool to get you to a B- and all the things that you're otherwise a complete failure at, great. I suck at copywriting. I suck at creative. I'll use it for that all day, every day. And I have tools that I've built that, to be fair, leverage a couple $100 million in ad spend and definitely works, right? That being said, I think that's the very surface level of AI. At a deeper level, the way that the machines are using AI now, and I was just in San Jose at the Meta Performance Summit, and I've got all sorts of decks and things I can't necessarily be completely transparent with until can, but I'll have all the videos and all the presentations and everything as soon as I'm publicly allowed to do it. But they're paying me very well, so I'm gonna keep my mouth shut as that. But what I can say is this: there's a big update in the space of Meta that they call the Andromeda update, and this is just I want to kind of lay the table. I want to set the table so that we can kind of eat, right? So the Andromeda update is basically them using language models to do critical thinking and trend analysis and delivery updates and all of that fun stuff. What that means for us, and they have like big, huge data farms with NVIDIA chips and all sorts of fun stuff. What that means for us is the ability for the machine to make a decision on who to show your ads to is exponentially better than it was 2 years ago. And every day it gets better and better. Now, that happens on a macro level, meaning it's just understanding more and more what people want to see. It also happens on a micro level, meaning it understands who is interested in what you have to say. And why that's really important is because it's all about data management. And I think this is where John and I see the world in the most bit of contrast. He's trying to make as many ads as he can to show people the stuff that's going to get to the end result that he wants. The problem is the more ads you run, the way I look at it, the dumber every ad is. The opportunity for it to learn and collect data is inhibited because there's 1,000 other shots being taken. So you're basically saying you're trying to get good at shooting free throws by shooting 10, and whoever just out of the gate drains the most on the first 10 they ever shoot is the one you think is the absolute best. I think that's an unrealistic way to build an all-star team. Luck is not a predictor of future behavior. What I'd rather do is build a team that I can invest in developing over time. I want a few employees to get better and better and better at the job. And AI, and the way the machine is using it, is really able to leverage that data in a way that is smarter and stronger and is growing very quickly in its power. So what that really means is, I think there's this focus on, let me show an ad to somebody where the last click attribution of an action means I can take credit for something getting done. I think that worldview is fairly obsolete and misguided in that the customer journey is decades long, not days long. There's no way to say that one ad is the reason that any one thing happened. The shirt that you're wearing isn't because of one ad. It's because of a lifetime of choices. And that's probably not even the first ad you clicked on to buy that shirt that was in that style, right? Like, I mean, I get ads for things like that all the time. I'm clicking through multiple, it might take me weeks. The point is, the last touch point isn't the reason that everything occurred, right? Like, the person accepting your payment in the car dealership isn't the reason you walked in, right? Like, there's a disconnect there. AI, if we lean into data management, basically saying, let all of the ads, if I can have fewer ads that are exposed to more data, the ability for the machine to show that to the right person at the right time becomes exponentially better. And if I can allow my employees to get better at their job, the requirement of me to micromanage them becomes less and less. That allows me to scale my operation. And it means I'm less and less dependent on arbitrage on the price of attention, and I can start focusing on winning in much bigger levels. And so AI, the way that I see it, it's fun to make goofy videos and maybe bad ad copy. And I'm sure we've all seen it where it's like we're going to delve into something. It's like, no, nobody says that. Or it's like weird emojis and dashes and stuff. But I think at a higher level, we have to think about it in that the way this is being weaponized is in trend analysis to make sure that the people who want to see your content are seeing it, and that your content's being shown to the people who are most likely to take the action that you're interested in. And the last thing that I'll say to that is, our ads exist as a burden on the user experience. We are billboards in the sky blocking the beautiful like sunset. Nobody logs onto the platform just to see. I mean, I do. I'm weird, but like most people don't log into Instagram to try to see ads. And why that's really important is because not all impressions are created equal. Not all clicks are of equal value. And higher quality impressions to people who are more likely to take an action, that premium inventory, is earned. It is not bought. And a lot of times you'll see people using cost controls and volume of shots that they take to try to get to actions. The thing that we have to remember is that if your content is a liability to the business model of the platform, meaning when somebody sees your ad, they have a worse experience, you're going to they're going to sell you lower quality inventory for a higher price. So higher quality inventory at a lower price is a thing that you earn by having fewer moving parts that are smarter. And that's where the AI really helps in delivery. And the more you begin to adopt that, the more stable, projectable, and scalable your results are going to be in a way that requires less and less of your time. So it's a very long-winded answer, but like I kind of wanted to talk about that. And really, executionally, that means as few ads as possible that change as rarely as you possibly can, in a way where today doesn't have to be good enough, but if every week is better, it's going to be hard not to make more money. And if you don't have the long view, you probably shouldn't be playing the game to begin with.
Absolutely. I'm going to take a quick break because I just remembered I didn't pay my parking meter. I was such a. Can you?
You should go pay that meter.
Can you get it? All right. Thank you.
Look at that. Man's got you,
I have
dude.
a guy.
Look at this guy.
I have a guy.
That's fantastic.
Mike, sorry to degrade you into my parking meter. Oh. Cool.
Oh, he's got the talking about the sauce. We got that on. Okay, there you go. I like it.
You can leave that slightly. Yeah, there you go. That's fine. My mind was thinking, oh shit, am I gonna get a ticket?
Yeah, absolutely.
But you were dropping such gems. I didn't want to stop.
Look, man,
like,
you didn't.
But I don't want my car to get towed, and I don't.
You didn't telegraph the worry.
Yes, exactly.
I looked at your face. I didn't see
I know,
utter
no
dread and concern.
My head was like, oh fuck.
You did good.
I was waiting. I'm like, all right, I'll wait for the pause.
Professional.
Thank you.
Well
Appreciate
done.
that. All right, but we're still rolling, so we can jump in at any point. All right.
Yeah.
All right. So when we get back into this, was there another thought that we had? Because
I mean, I think that's solid. I think, at this point, we can talk about execution. We could talk about theory. We could talk about anywhere you want to go with that.
Okay.
But
And then we'll talk about the mastermind coming
sure.
up.
Yeah, that sounds good.
We'll use it as a good promo piece.
Yeah, I think so. And I know we didn't really get to the particulars, but I think the best way we can get into that is in campaign structure, strategy, execution. Like, how do we take what you're currently doing and to make it more stable and knowable and like higher quality leads on less work that get cheaper over time?
Let's do that.
Sounds great. Okay, cool.
Okay, great.
Yeah.
Okay, ready? Take two.
Okay,
All
there
right.
we go.
All right, so Charlie, let's talk about ad campaigns.
Love it.
And let's get into the nitty gritty.
Okay.
Give me something good.
Yeah, so let's talk about a structure that'll give you higher quality ads over time for a lower price that is more and more stable. Because that's kind of what it's all about, right?
Yeah.
And so one of the things is, I think a lot of people don't take concern into thinking that not all leads are of the same value. And if you tell the machine what you're looking for, it will deliver you more of that. They're in business to take your money. If you're not happy with what they're giving you, then they're going to give them less money. Like there's a simpatico business relationship. And so first step of this, let's start at the very end of it, is data management, and then we'll get to the execution. Data management. Not all leads are created equal. One of the things that I recommend for anybody to do, especially if you have a lead form, even if it's just first name, last name, email, phone number, or if you have like radio buttons or drop-down multi-choice, what you'll find is that there is a way to effectively monetize or have a unit value for each response. When I was running ads for, I was running ads for some co-working spaces, we'll put it politely. Some brands I can talk about, some I can't. One of the things we found in that was that people whose email ended in Gmail were inherently worth less than those that ended in a business.com. People that filled out first name, last name, phone number, and full email were more likely to convert than those that just gave like a first name and an email address.
That makes sense.
Yeah. But the reason that really matters is also because that allows you to understand there's a tier 1 lead, there's a tier 2 lead, there's a tier 3 lead. And I've done this for education services and a bunch of other brands. But if you can take those leads and basically quantify them into several different buckets based on value. This is a tier 1. This is a good lead. This is a bad lead. This is a holy shit, drop everything and call this person right now type lead, right? What that means is you can pass that information back to the machine. And you can say that this is a tier 1, tier 2, tier 3 lead. And you can even collate some of those. So you could say a bad lead is worth $5, a great lead is worth 20, and the holy shit drop everything is worth 100. Great. Now you're gonna have different cost targets for each one of those things. You can have campaigns where the conversion event that you're optimizing to isn't lead, but it's good lead or good and great lead. Maybe you're combining tier 1 and 2 into a single grouping. The point is, when somebody fills out your lead and hits your CRM list, pass the information back on an instant qualification of what is the unit value of this on average. And you can even pass that back with a dollar amount attached to it. And I'm doing this right now with the business. And again, let's say a bad lead is worth 5. There's still value there, right? Like it could turn into something, but maybe, it's $1,000 conversion and 1 out of like 200 people buy. Okay, that lead is worth $5. If 1 out of 10 buy, like get on the call with them right now, that lead's worth $100, right? So you can understand if I'm buying those $100 leads for less than $100, I'm making money. And at some point you might get up to $90, $95, but there might be some value for a tier 2 or a tier 3. So passing that information back and making your optimization event, instead of just lead, making it one of these like custom events, that will immediately improve what's going on. Another way to do this, if you don't know that, is if you have a 2-step, say it's a sales funnel, right? Like I do this with people that are running VSLs all the time. You come in, you give me your lead, and then we send you an email to a VSL. If you click on that email to the VSL, that's an engaged lead versus a normal lead. So I did some of this, and I have a video where this for Alex Hormozi's $100 million book launch and a bunch of other stuff. But if I optimize towards engaged leads, I'm essentially saying I'm only trying to buy the attention of the people who are likely to click on the link in the email that I send after they fill out the lead form. That's the optimization event. So immediately from there, you are no longer playing the game of lowest cost. You're playing the game of how do I allow myself to pay as much as possible to acquire a lead? So instead of getting down to absolute zero being the goal, you're basically saying who wins the game is who can ever pay most to get the attention. Now you're optimizing for highest value attention instead of lowest cost lead, which is a dramatic shift for most people. And unfortunately, I don't see that happening a lot. So if we understand that, then it is let's focus on how the machine actually operates. So the way a campaign works inside of Facebook or Meta or whatever, they're paying me enough. I got to say Meta. Like, it pains me a little bit here.
Meta, they're paying you.
They do pay me a lot of money to make content for them, and I want to be very clear. It's not like a flex, but like, if people are paying money for me to say stuff, I want to put that out there, right? I think transparency is really important. There's a level of integrity to that. Hey, look, I'll admit where I'm wrong, and I'll call people out on their shit, and I want to be very clear when I'm getting paid by people. But they also pay me because they know that I won't pull punches, and that's part of the value that I bring to. There's plenty of other people that will kiss ass. I don't, and so I fit in their mix, right? There's not a lot of people like me, but there's still value there, which is fine.
Yeah.
So that being said, the way those campaigns operate, the campaign decides which ad. If you're using, first off, use campaign budget levels, right? So set the budget at the campaign level. That campaign will choose which ad set to spend on. The ad sets make the choice of which ad within the ad set to spend on. Now, why that matters is the more ad sets you have, the less informed that campaign is at making a choice. It's basically saying I have to do 50 things. I can't do any one of them very well. And what you'll see is if you get to like 5 ad sets or 10 or 20 or 100, is that it'll ultimately favor something right away, more based on initial data sets, not because of actual business value.
That's
and
interesting.
it can be very, very long for you to get to a place of confidence. You get time, confidence, and money. So if you want to spend a lot of money in a short period of time across a lot of things, know that you're going to have very low confidence in any of the outcomes. And so we have to remember that the machine is not interested in giving you a good business result. That's not their goal. The machine is interested in giving their end users a positive experience. It's your job to say somebody has a good experience on the platform, and that's good for my business. There's a simpatico relationship. They're selling you inventory. It is your job to respect that relationship, or you're going to get priced out. If your CPMs are constantly rising, it's because you have ads that give people a bad experience, and the machine is just making you pay a tax.
How would an ad give a bad experience?
So
like, give me an example.
Buy now. Like any ad that's a hard DR sales ad, nobody wants to see that. Like a buy now ad, like a hard sale ad, like
telling them what to do with.
Yeah, exactly. Like just going back to, even if it's, I think it's Donnie Brasco, but it's like, fuck you, pay me. Like, I think it's Goodfellas. Like that's a bad ad.
Right.
An ad where people are like, oh, this is really interesting, and they're engaged with it. Maybe they watch the video, they go to the comment section, they go to the website. When they go to the website, they're interested and they come back. Really, the way the system uses it is every single ad exists as a web page on Facebook's website or on Instagram's website. The machine is measuring the click-through rate, the bounce rate, the stickiness, the engagement rate, time on site of every web page. There's then the way that the machine shows your content. Think of the Instagram or Facebook newsfeed as basically Google search results sorted by stickiness. So ads that people don't like, ads that people avoid constantly or scroll right past, or if they click on the ad, they bounce right away on the website, or when they see the ad, they log out of the platform. Those are bad. Those are signals that you're a liability to the bottom line of your business partner. The way your business partner deals with you not being a liability is they just tax you out of the point of being able to conduct business. Higher CPMs, lower quality inventory. That's why your CPMs rise, because you're being way too DR. You're taking email and call center and search ad strategy and applying it to a qualitative relationship experience. And that just doesn't work. If you don't respect the needs of your partner, you're not going to have a partnership very long, right? Like no relationship I've ever been in lasted any long if it was all about me, right? Being selfish in any relationship is bad, right? So with all that being said, fewer data sets means each data set is richer, right? If I have 1,000 pieces of data that go into 50 buckets, those are inherently dumber than if I have 5. 10 times dumber, arguably. Now, if you laid that same logic out at the ad level, then you can understand how complexity really creates an issue. Now, I don't think people really appreciate math and scale. So let me give you a quick example. If you have 12 ads, if we were to say I want statistical significance of a data set of just, let me show those 12 ads to somebody in a different order. What is the total number of combinations of those 12 ads that can be shown to any one person for me to have a data set of 1 of what that looks like? That is 497 million different combinations. If it's 52 ads, like a deck of cards, that is a number with 67 commas. You will never be able to spend enough money if you have 50 ads to know what anything is doing. You, more importantly, will then be focused on what gets credit for the sale. So who's basically the cashier when somebody's coming up with a credit with the basket full of goods, not the reason they walked into the store. And if you're focused only on hiring a ton of cashiers, inherently you get less customers. And so people are focusing on the end game instead of filling the funnel. And there's a real qualitative issue there. So if you think of 12 ads as 497 million, 50 ads is a number with 67 commas in it, you can't possibly have enough money to do any of that stuff. Well, let's go the other way. What if you have 5? What if 2 or 3 of them are inherently more prospecting? You can see that with what we call the 4PI analysis, which is spend, frequency, CPM, and efficiency. It might earn more spend. The daily frequency is probably going to be lower. The CPM is going to be lower, and that ad looks worse in the platform. You're going to have other ads where the inverse is true. And how many times do we hear people saying Facebook is dumb? It doesn't spend the most of the money on the ad that does the best. And that's because that ad only exists as the second touch. It's the closer. If you only have closers and nobody knocking on doors, you're never going to have leads for the closers to do. And then you're asking them to go door to door, and they're going to suck at the job, and then you fire them, and then you're out of everybody. That doesn't make any sense. You would never run a call center that way, but you run your ad account that way all the time. And I think that's a really big liability. I think that's sort of where John and I see differently on things. I think he's focused on the closers and just ramping them up as much as we can in this analogy. So operationally speaking, if you have one campaign focused on the with one singular business objective, I want to get good and great leads. Let's say tier 1 and tier 2. Let's say that's the case. I could have one ad set with 3 to 5 ads, maybe 6 ads in it that are optimized towards getting those leads and more or less behave in a way that I can project. I know they may be good enough, they might not be good enough, but they work well together. It's an investment portfolio, right? They're guys on the basketball court. If you have 5 centers, you're probably going to get outscored. If you have 5 point guards, but nobody to defend, you're going to get wrecked. Like, you have to have a balance, right? There's top of funnel and bottom of funnel. That's just overall nature. So the fewer moving parts, the better every one of those parts is at the job. If we have really solid parts and we know how they're going to behave, going back to 5th grade science class, that's a control. You then have 1 or 2 other moving parts that are specifically designed to replace the worst guy on the court. Who's the worst member of my team? Can I improve them? That means you might have an account, and I'm doing this right now with accounts spending $30,000, $50,000, $100,000 a day, and these ads are lasting for months. Some of them last for longer than that. But like, ad fatigue is also an operator error as far as I'm concerned, because you're creating problems. But that's a whole other conversation for another day. The point is, if I have 5 or 6 ads where I know how they're going to behave, I can also understand what member of my team is worse at their job. The purpose of the creative test is to replace that member of my team with somebody better at their job.
So you have like, comparing to basketball,
sure,
you have 5 different you have 5 different players on the court.
Yeah, that
each
would be
one of them has to be performing their specific role.
Yeah. And if my point guard is weak, I might have another ad set, a second ad set with 1 or 2 ads. I use flex ads, 322. There's a whole other conversation. Check out 322 ads. It's another thing. But I'll basically let the AI combine ad combinations where that's an A/B test amongst those 2 people that I'm trying out for the team. I'm going to bring on 2 point guards and see if they're good. One, I'm going to see if the combination of these 2 point guards just makes my team better. If the answer is yes, spend more money. And if they outperform the guy that's currently on my squad, I'm probably going to replace that guy so that my team is better. It's not about getting to the best single player. It's about having the best team. And if you have a diversification of assets that is wide enough to spread the load, but not so wide that nobody gets good, then you're going to have the greatest ability to handle the different struggles that come your way. Whether maybe sometimes CPMs go up or quality goes down, whatever it is, you're going to know who on your team is struggling. So you're going to have a very clear idea of what problem you need to fix. And that brings me down to ultimately the way that this looks. Again, 1 campaign, 1 ad set of my proven assets, my control, 1 other ad set or maybe 2 of an A/B test on somebody to replace my weak player. That alone is all you need. Because if you get out to dozens of ad sets or dozens of ads or campaigns, there's not enough data for the machine to have any understanding of what's going to do it. So it's just going to focus on whatever gives the people the best experience, which is inherently bad for your business. And then things roll downhill really quickly. With all that being said, like, what the biggest issue I see most people have is they're not able to say, this ad got spent. As a result, this happened to my bank account. If your ad account structure is too complicated for you to say, this earned budget, I invested here, this is what I got as a return, then you are too complicated to make an informed decision. And if the way that you make that decision is based on last click attribution, then you're basically putting all the eggs in the basket of whoever was lucky enough to be the last touch point. But that's not a way of creating more new people. And I think inherently that's why you have some folks that are really good at getting to be efficient, but they can never scale things. And you have other people that are really good at scaling things, but might have problems with efficiency. There's a art and a science to it. But I ultimately want to focus my ad account to be simple enough for me to say, in that environment, I have one ad set with 5 ads and I launch a new test. If that test earns spend, what happens to my bank account? If it doesn't earn spend, it's a loss. If it earns spend, regardless of the attribution and the reporting, if I'm making more money, it's a win. If I'm making less money, it's a loss. I might get way more leads for cheap, but maybe my conversion rate goes from 8% to 4%. Well, it's shit. Maybe the lead cost doubles, but my conversion rate goes from 8% to 25%. Hot damn, spend more money. But if I can't have that direct linear attribution of this got more spend, this happened to my business, then basically what you're saying is you're investing in things that you don't understand the return. And I don't think anybody logically would say the way they want to make money is by investing things with no idea what they get for it. Like, that doesn't make any sense.
Yeah.
And so that's where I would really like to focus people to start thinking on things in that way instead, because it dramatically simplifies everything. And a simple machine is easy to fix, which gives you a lot more time. And to be fair, while I'm only working a few hours each week on each project, that means I'm working on like 5 times more projects, which means I get to fail 5 times faster, which means I get better faster than everybody else because I'm doing, I'm Kobe Bryant at practice at 4:30 in the morning when you get out of bed at 9. I'm just going to beat you on volume and integrity of the work that I'm doing.
Was there a prompt that you've used that might have changed the way that you approach the way that you create an ad? Like, for example, I've seen people say like, be a 15-year brand expert and review my ad. And as that 15, that one worked pretty well for me recently. Do you have a prompt that works really well you could share?
I mean, I do have a few things. I mean, what I like to do, honestly, I just build GPTs and make them public. I have a copywriting GPT called the 322 Method Ad Copywriter GPT. It's got over like 10,000 users, 4.7 star rating.
You built this?
Yeah, I built it. So I have an entire suite of GPTs that are, if you go into GPT and you just type in Disruptor School, you'll see a suite of GPTs that you can use.
Wow.
For ad copy.
What do you charge for that?
They're all free. I want my team to use it. Now, to be fair, when you go through it, it's going to be like, hey, by the way, I'm thinking about stuff. Here's a link to it. They're all funnels. I'm giving you for free, and while you go through it, you have to kind of bypass. They're all lead gen. Mm-hmm. Like, look, this is lead gen stuff, right? I'm building very valuable tools that get used by tens of thousands of people that have embedded affiliate codes in them for my business. So I'm effectively my own affiliate marketer by hacking GPT chat to do all the work for me in a way that is top of funnel for me. And I can understand the conversion rate and value of each one of those things. So yes, full disclosure, I'm a lead gen marketer building a business by giving away every tool that I use. Because I don't think the tool is having the best power drill doesn't make you a good carpenter, right? Now, all that to be said, for me, what I have found works best is 3 things. I don't think there's any one prompt. For me, what I found some golden rules. Number 1, understand that whatever's in the top of the conversation gets more value than what's at the bottom. But if you upload PDFs or images, then it looks at everything equally. So instead of having a very long conversation that you type, I will put something into like Google Docs, export as a PDF and upload it. Therefore, the last word has as much weight as the first word. Very different responses when everything is weighted equally. Mm-hmm. Second thing is that I very much like multi-stage conversations. Like, I'm going to give you this. Then I want you to ask me for this. I want you to confirm, like doing it step by step maintains the control throughout everything. And I think that's really important. And then the last thing that I do is when I figure something out that works, I will keep that conversation going in that thread. But what I'll also do is I'll just export that as a PDF, upload that, and create a GPT out of it. So my point to that is I don't think there's a magic cheat code of a way to get the best result. What I encourage people to do is if you have ads that have worked, or if you're working in an affiliate center and you see all the other examples of things that have worked, take those in and tell the machine to analyze it, understand the vernacular, the timbre, the positioning, all of that stuff. Say, these are the things that I like, these are the things that I don't like. Create me things that are like this. I think the worst thing you could do is try to invent the wheel. The easiest thing to do is leverage the work of everybody that came before you to do better work than they have. And I think that's a cheat code far too many people don't rely on. So I think the best idea is not a magic prompt, but rather reference all of the other smart people that have come before you and just do slightly better than them. More of the same but better wins all the time.
So you could actually ask the AI for the top 5 ads for what you're doing.
Sure.
And it'll show you the top 5 ads.
Sure.
And then you could just kind of recreate them.
Yeah, you could go into Facebook. You could go into and say, here are the top 5 affiliate marketers for this offer. Cool. Go into the Facebook ads library, download all their ads or screenshot the ads, upload that as a huge library into the machine, just put it into a folder, upload that zip file or PDF, maybe it's 30, 50 slides or whatever, upload and be like, these are all the best ads for everybody in my space. Then go to the landing pages, scrape all the landing pages. These are all the landing pages for everybody in my space. Build me something like this, ask me questions on how it can be more like me, and let's do better than they did. Like,
brilliant.
That is so much easier to just copy and paste your way to success. And to be fair, that 322 Method Ads copywriter is, breakthrough advertising is in that data set. Like, I've uploaded 10,000 ads that spent at least $1 million. So like, you don't have to think about stuff. You're just using the tools of everybody. And I put in the life work of like David Ogilvy and Eugene Schwartz and Leo Burnett and all of these other brands and advertisers. And that's why it's really, really good. And it doesn't feel like AI because it's inherently leveraging real people.
It kind of sees the common denominator.
Yeah. And then you can be like, hey, leverage this person or use that person or channel this brand. You could be like, make me something unhinged like Liquid Death, but put it in the same frame that it sounds like Russell Brunson is telling it to me. Awesome. Done. That can happen out of the box. And I think really what I'll end with is this. Great artists steal. If you have to invent everything along the way, you're never going to be as good as everybody else. You just don't have the time, the money, or the reps. And it's a really terrible investment to try to make all of those mistakes on your own. And my biggest recommendation is leverage all of the hard work of other people, especially in affiliates, especially in lead gen. There's a lot of folks trying to sell the same thing. See what they're doing, just do it better. If you can be better, you're going to win the game. And especially when it comes to Facebook and Meta, it's better isn't a more aggressive DR tactic. It's, can I earn the attention of somebody who saw that ad but didn't convert? Can I let everybody else be my top of funnel? And you're going to win higher quality inventory for a lower price by just presenting an experience that people enjoy more. And you could easily just see, what did everybody do? Now make it 10% more enjoyable or whatever it is. Like, that's how you win the qualitative game, because it's the unit economics are built on user experience.
It's amazing. And so with that being said,
yeah,
and that was amazing. That was probably the best part of this whole show.
I'm glad we buried the lead.
Yeah, because that was a part that as a common folk person, I understood.
Love it. Great. Well, I mean, we're trying to go very high level and then get down to just like,
I'm on that low level. So for me, like,
fantastic.
I understood that one great. All right. So for somebody like me who wants to get better at this, they can join your school.
Sure. Yeah. I have a thing called Disruptor Academy. It's $97 a month. We have live classes every week. We have regular roast my ad accounts. So like, I have to rush out of here to get back because we have 4 people today where they're going to pull up their ad account, and I'm basically doing live audits live on the call.
I love that.
2 affiliate marketers, a lead gen business, and a print on demand store is what we have on deck today.
I love
and
that.
I'm literally just going to go into the entire ad account, show them all the things to do, and just give them an action item for the next month. We have guest speakers on a regular basis. A couple of my star students come in and help people along the way. And to be fair, to just show how that business operates, I started it in February. I'm at $18,000 a month right now, like 260 some odd people, around roughly $97 a pop. Some people are on trial, some people aren't. But I have an 8% churn rate and a 40% conversion rate on trial. People love it and they stick around for a very long time. I think that's if hundreds of other people aren't leaving and I can make you $3.50 more a day, then it's probably dumb to not do it. And if it means that I'm going to be in the ad account with you to help you solve that problem because I'm doing one-to-one at scale, great.
And Disruptor Academy is on the school platform.
It is on the school platform, yeah. And so it's on school, but you can type in also, if you go to disruptorschool.com, it's the head banner. And I've got other higher ticket training stuff, and I've got YouTube channels. Disruptor Academy is also a full YouTube channel where I'm giving away like courses I used to charge thousands of dollars for. I just re-recorded and made publicly available. Like on Saturday, one went live on an AI funnel. I built a funnel with AI where I made $100,000 in 100 days. I show you the entire step, every single thing, all the prompts, all the tools. I show you the receipts of my payouts and my ad account. It's an 1.5 hour long video. Watch that video, make money, easy. So I'm doing one of those like every 2 to 3 weeks. Another video is coming out. And if you've never run ads before, the first video on there is how to set up an ad account, like how to put your credit card in, how to get rights to a page. So you can, all the stuff that we've been talking about, all of that is in there, step by step. My whole goal is to make it so easy that everybody can get to a place of more success and less stress. And eventually you rise to a point where there's a strain or a stress. And then if I can make you an extra $4 a day, it's dumb to not pay me. So I'm just making it really easy for everybody to profit off investing into me. And there's a reason why, you know, it's gone from 0 to 5-figure monthly reoccurring revenue in like 100 days. And I think that'll probably be in the 60 to 85K range by the end of the year. And that's
extra money for you. It's great.
Yeah.
I love that.
That's stupid easy.
That's not even what you do. This is just extra.
That's just me helping people, which keeps my short sharp.
It's your OnlyFans.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, exactly. I think we're talking about that. Yeah, it's OnlyFans, right?
Right.
Great. Like, it's not feet. That OnlyFans bombed. But like this one is about money.
Right.
Great. Awesome. You know, like, yes, like I've got a pedicure. Nobody cares. I can help you make an extra $100,000 this month. Great. For $97, the return is stupid. So I just try to make it a no-brainer. And there's also affiliate stuff in there. So a lot of people are learning how to do it, and then they're making money off of being a part of it. And so then it's just this beautiful thing where everybody gets to win by being a part of the thing that makes it easy for people to win.
And you said it's dumb not to do it.
Yeah.
And I'm going to segue into the final part.
I love it.
It would be dumb not to do the AFFY Mastermind coming up.
There we go.
You are our guest. You're going to be
that.
it. Where you are teaching our first AFFY Mastermind.
Yes.
And I thank you for that. Why don't you tell our viewers some of the things you might be going over?
So I think we're going to really try to operationalize a lot of the stuff that we talked about today. Basically, how to set up the simplest machine to get the highest quality leads for the lowest price in a way that is most predictable and stable so that you can scale with confidence. If we make that something that requires a couple hours a week, that means you can spend the rest of your time enjoying life, doing other projects, or making everything that happens after the click better. I'll end with this. Simple machines are easy to fix. Complex always fails. Simple scales, complex fails. Let's make it easy.
Perfect. And on that note, let's just make things easy, everybody. Yeah. Let's do the Disruptor School, Disruptor Academy.
There we go.
On school, AFFY Mastermind coming soon with my partner, Mike Ferree of Lead Generation World and Contact.io. We got the AFFY Expo behind it and the AFFY Awards behind it. That's a lot of big forces all in one in the industry getting behind the AFFY Mastermind. And we're going to price it pretty affordable. We're going to make it only like $1,000. So for $1,000, you're going to get about 90 minutes of Charlie. You could ask questions. He's going to teach you everything that he teaches other people that are on the highest of levels.
Yeah. For the record, I do have training programs that are like $10,000 to $15,000 a month.
Wow.
Let's make a lot of the actionable information for your folks available for a lot cheaper than that.
A lot cheaper.
Yeah,
right,
let's just do that.
That's
Again,
awesome.
More success, less stress. Let's make success affordable for everybody. Because why not put smiles on faces and more money in the bank account? There's plenty of opportunity. Like, it's working. Let's just make everybody happy.
Let's just make more money.
Yeah, it seems to be simple. If we can
work less.
Yes, please. Yes. Can we just do that?
All right, so to close the show, I want to thank our big sponsor of the show. We have EDM Network. You can find them at EDM Lead Network. Jamal and Rita, they're my guys. I love those guys. And you can even sign up through my site as a white label of that. Ooh. That's, where we use our little trickiness as affiliate marketers. Go to marketingfirm.com and work with me and Jamal and those guys. And on another note, the contact.io show is coming up very soon. I highly recommend you go there if you're in the call center space or you're doing pay per call. That is a show for you coming up that you have to be at. Lead generation world is going to be around the corner in no time. It's a half year away. I say no time, but January 4th, we'll be doing the AFFY Awards at Lead Generation World, and I expect to see Charlie there.
I'll be there.
You got to be up for some kind of an award. We got to get you on the radar.
I mean, I'm game. Let's have some fun, man.
Most innovative marketing technique.
Hey, I'll take it, man. I'll take it. You know, if I can be the best investment you can make with your time and energy so that you can leverage everybody else, that means that I've done my job. And I'm all about making people more money and trying to make the world a better place.
And when you said that you roast people, you know, we had Jeff Ross roast our winners once,
yes,
right?
Yes.
Now, I've seen you at my events before.
Sure.
I know you've been to at least one or two.
Yeah.
Do you have a favorite event of one of our affiliate balls or AFFY Expo?
Yeah, I mean, I think the expo with Akon. And we were backstage, and Coolio was
the affiliate ball.
Yeah, the affiliate ball. Like that one was probably my favorite. I was that the Mandalay? I think it was.
It was outside.
It was outside at the Mandalay.
Daylight.
Yeah,
yeah. To end the pandemic, by the way.
I mean,
2 peace signs high in the sky. If you survive the pandemic, you a soul survivor, baby. Honestly, this shit probably was more of a treat for me than it was for you. Because for the last 2 years, we didn't hit no stages, did no performances or nothing, man. So, as you can see, I'm out here sweating and all kind of craziness. But I had an amazing time.
That was a really good time in a spot where having a really good time seemed to be really difficult to have.
It was.
And, you know, I went with a group of people that, yeah. Good times were had. I'll leave it at that. It was in Vegas. Let's abide
what
by the
happens
rule.
in Vegas
Yeah, exactly. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
exactly.
But it was fun for me too, and it was to end the pandemic. We actually had, I think, a bigger turnout than the affiliate summit because if you remember, you had to have a COVID card back then, and like half their audience was like, "I don't have one. I don't want to get the shot." And a lot of people were like, "I can't get into the trade show." Here, I'm throwing a party outside, and everyone's like, "Well, this is the only game going on."
Yeah.
So I think it was the only time my party might have been bigger than the actual trade show. We had well over 3,000 people.
I mean, it was a lot of fun. I got to see our buddy Faustino there too.
Yeah,
it was crazy. I was like, you know.
Affiliate ball in the building. Shout out Mandalay Bay. Some of you may know me from Married with Children. Some of you may not. There's some youngsters out there. And if you did miss that show, you've missed out on a lot.
It was a coming together of many worlds, which I think was extra special for me.
Awesome. Well, you know, I'm going to have to cut to a clip at some point in this episode.
We have to. Let's do it.
All right. Well, again, thanks for watching the D-Money Show. And Charlie, thanks for coming in.
Thanks for having me.
D-Money Show.